Hello there. What is going on, everybody? Today we are unboxing and building and taking a look at the Rebel Sleeper Cell unit expansion. This is the latest expansion for the Rebel Alliance for Star Wars Legion, and this is going to be a really fun unit. This is a unit that was inspired by the Cassian Andor sort of freedom fighters, insurgents. This was initially an expansion that was kind of announced to be something called Rebel Saboteurs, but since there's already something called Rebel Saboteurs, they had renamed it to Rebel Sleeper Cell, which is a pretty cool name. Now you've got 8 miniatures in here, 2 upgrade cards, a token sheet, and an insert. We're going to get this thing open. If you guys are new here to the channel, we do talk a lot about Star Wars and tabletop games like Legion, other games like Armada, X-Wing, other tabletop games like Warhammer, and other games like that, board games too, lots of that stuff. So if you like what you see, you're in the right place. Stick around. We also have that $50 Amazon gift card giveaway that's going right now. That is running throughout the rest of the month. You have a chance to win that. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. I want to know some of your favorite units, whether they are units in Star Wars Legion or units that you want to see in Star Wars Legion that you've seen in other games too. It's always a cool thing. Let's go ahead and get this box open. We are going to be putting all of these together, as well as looking at the cards and everything else that comes in here. So that's going to be an empty box. We've got our bases right here. We've got our cards and cardboard, which we'll look at that here more in just a second. We have our artwork and instruction sheet. Well, it would have been the instruction sheet, but it's just got a link to the rules on how to paint these. These are, at the time of me recording this video, the rules are not yet posted for these, so hopefully they won't be that hard to figure out. Typically, these types of models, here's are credits, by the way, and much like the previous expansion, no playtesters mentioned, which is very interesting. So one of the things that is, if you are ever assembling one of these expansions and don't have the instructions, or the instructions are unclear or whatever, they're usually fairly straightforward. One of the things that it helps to do is to look at the numbers and letters, right? So like G1 right here, this is G1, G2. So these are going to go left. So you're going to find all the G's are going to go together. This is G6, this is the gun for character number G. This is a piece named H, so that's not going to go to him. But G7 and G8, these are going to be head pieces that go together. So you're going to put those two together, right? That's the top of the head. This is the face of the head. So those are going to create the head. That's going to go on this torso piece here. Once that's together, you know, usually for the most part, Legion miniatures are a torso, usually front and back, or in some cases left and right. So 2 pieces of a torso in a lot of cases, 2 separate legs, some 2 separate arms, and a head. And sometimes the head is 2 pieces, sometimes the head is 1 piece. That's typically how they go. It's usually not super hard. Sometimes there's a variation on different options that you can take. There's a single astromech here, but it looks like we got different pieces and different ways to build this droid, which is going to be very interesting. We'll have some fun with that. With no instructions, that's, you know, I'm sure we'll be able to figure it out. Here we go. We've got the other one. Let's see, we've got some different heads in there, but these are for different people. So a lot of aliens, some Rhodians, which is always cool. An owl person, or is that just an owl? So we got a lot of cool stuff. We'll go ahead and put this together. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at the cardboard and these cards. All right, so we've got our cardboard here, some dodge tokens, aim tokens, suppression tokens, and then our special forces, because this is a special forces unit. So 6 miniature count for the Special Forces unit, which is pretty interesting. There were going to be 1 health, 2 courage, surge to hit, and surge to block natively, and speed 2. They're going to come in at 70 points, which is not bad for 6 miniatures. They are going to have a heavy personnel and a equipment, comms, and training. They have nimble, which is interesting, you know, kind of like your Rebel troopers have. Scout 2, which is always great, and tactical 1. So you can get free aim tokens after they move. You're going to be moving quite a bit. They're pretty decent in melee. They've got a det packs, which give them impact 1. They can shoot a blaster pistol at range 1 at a like slightly less great, but still 2 dice per mini as suppressive. And then they're range 2 blaster pistols, range 2 black dice per. So really good kind of medium or close quarters unit. Good keywords overall. Looks like a really solid overall unit. Although it's going to be interesting to see how they compete with the other Rebel Special Forces in the long run, because you've got, snipers, and you've got Wookiees, and you've got, you've got a lot of different options out there. So, and Pathfinders, which are, honestly underrated in my opinion. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. They are going to have some heavy end personnel options here. So we've got a Rebel Marksman, very, very similar to the Imperial version. This is a heavy that gives you a special action where you can exhaust to have basically a 25% chance to put a wound on somebody and also give them a suppression. And they don't get to save against this wound. Not a big fan of this. Not super crazy. It bypasses a lot of the rules of how shooting work in this game, and it's just a very weird thing. I don't like this style of upgrade, and they kind of did some of this with Din Djarin, and then had a whole slew of problems, and they're doing it now with these guys too, and they put a lot of limiters on there, and ended up making it kind of underwhelming. But on the other side of the fence is that there's no defense against it. It's just, it's just you just have to take that damage. It's kind of weird. They also come with an astromech that is also kind of weird, but it's only 5 points and it's an extra body. It is a non-combatant though, so he's not going to be able to attack or roll dice, but it gives you an extra HP for as far as contesting objectives, I suppose. And he can give dodge tokens. So this is a really good one if you're really trying to focus on holding an objective. The Marksman actually kind of works here too, because, the Rebel Sleeper Cell isn't a long-range unit, but this gives them some long-range threat, which does kind of fit into making this unit well-balanced, but doesn't, mesh with what the unit really wants to do, which is to take some range 2 shots, I think. Or maybe they just want to scout and use Nimble to survive. They can do 2 different things, right? They can be close range or play keep away and just go after objectives. And the Astromech works really well for that. The Marksman gives them the flexibility to do whatever you want them to do. And so that's kind of cool. But the Marksman's a little on the expensive side too, although he's cheaper than the Imperial version. So that's pretty interesting. We're going to go ahead and put these models together and go from there. So just some notes on assembly right now. So far, not particularly hard, but the leader guy is really difficult to assemble. His arms don't want to go in there very nicely, and as I try to close this one up, the hand comes out of the gun arm right there, and lots of different poses are just not making it work. I'm going to probably leave it like this and just use some sprue glue, which is basically I take some of my an extra one of these things of glue and drop a whole bunch of sprue in there, and it makes it into like a putty, which is good for filling in gaps like that. Let me know if you guys are putting this together, if you've seen the same thing. There's different head options. I do really like that the heads are not fixed into a specific position, so it's kind of in this ball, so I can kind of turn it around and do whatever I want. This makes like the heads seem like they're going to be pretty universal for here. So that is a really good thing. I'm happy to see AMG do this with their Rebels. Wish they had done this with their Stormtroopers too, but maybe it's harder to do with big old helmets and stuff. But either way, this is a win for the heads at least. So we're still putting these guys together, and the Astromech is pretty cool because there are a lot of different options. You have this kind of big-bodied, big rollers that you can put him on. Kind of resembles, the Astromech droid from Andor, and we've got different heads that we can put on as well. I'm not a big fan of the rollers, though. I think I'm just going to go with the standard traditional Astromech legs. All right, so we have the whole gang put together here. The leader is here. Now, I did not put the leader, I'm assuming this is the leader. I did not put the leader with the Lothcat that came. There is a Lothcat, and I decided I'm not even going to put that together right now. I'm saving that for something else. One of those reasons I'm saving it is because it might go really well with a Sabine Wren if they reprint her in the future, or I might do something like I did with this guy and just took one of my extra Grogu and put him up in there. I just like to do funny things with extra pieces. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll look at the rest of the crew here. I had this guy looking, I think they had him looking this way, And I made him looking this way instead because I just figured he was spinning around and being jazzy. Which is kind of cool. Reminds me of that spinning shooting guy from Book of Boba Fett, which I was like, it's funny. It was definitely a little bit of extra flourish, but it was fun. Yeah. Also, all of these heads are like hot swappable because they all have that round kind of shoulder inlet. So they're all going to be real easy to swap around. If you buy multiple kits, you can take out the alien heads and like put them all together and make one unit that's all aliens. If you want to do that. Hopefully they continue to make Rebels with the same type of head so you can swap heads around as much as you want, right? So yeah, a lot of really cool improvements with the design here, which is cool. My biggest complaint so far is that these guys look so much like the other Rebel Special Forces that are out there. Like the look of the Rebel infantry in this game is so generic to where all the Rebels look the same. And so then it's on you to like, oh, I have to paint my special forces different. Even though like, because these guys look just like Rebel troopers, except they're special forces, they're not core, but then they also look like a lot like Rebel commandos, you know? And of course it's going to depend largely on how you paint them up. Like, especially this guy, like this guy looks like a Rebel commando, you know, like again, I don't know. I think there's different things they could have done if they were trying to do another special forces like Saw Gerrera's Partisans or something like that. You know, they don't have to all look the same, but I get that it can be a little challenging, but that is my observation, is they look a lot like, you know, Rebel Commandos and Rebel Troopers. And this is what I went with for the Astromech, kind of a little more traditional. So, yeah, that's the unit. All right, so that is a look at the Rebel Sleeper Cell. Also, for the this rifle guy here, they had this whole piece that was going to be that you could put behind him. I didn't want to use this because it's not fair to put this giant slab of concrete on his base, so then he gets permanent heavy cover. You know, I didn't think that was fair. So, and frankly, you know, I mean, like having options like this is cool, but I didn't want to use this. It's better served for something else. Not to go on this guy. The bases are already small enough as it is, and I like to have some fun with my own bases, but I do like that they give you options like this and the Lothcat. You know, having options is a cool thing. So there's definitely pros and cons here. It seems like it's a fun, versatile unit. I don't like the mechanic that they're doing with these Rebel Marksmen. I'm not a big fan of attacks that there's no defense against. And then also I am, you know, I think it's overall a pretty cool unit. I like a lot of the directions they went with the sculpts, the heads being able to swivel and be hot swappable. Very cool. Having different options for the Astromech is cool, even though I really didn't like the legs for the second option. You know, that wasn't as good, but still having options is good, even, you know, because that's the idea, is you're going to get, when you have options, you're going to say like, well, some that I'd like and some that I don't like, and you're going to pick the ones that you like. So good stuff overall. We'll have to wait and see how they play in future content. All right, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are out of this world and help make this whole channel possible. I'll talk to you later. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. And as always, always wash your socks.